Welcome to the Near Memo, a weekly conversation about search, social, and commerce. What happened, why it matters, and the implications for local.
Okay, so with our remaining time, we're going to go into shift gears a little bit and talk about images in local packs, product images, product inventory in local packs, which is a really interesting development. I was having a conversation with a guy at Near Street, a UK company that helps facilitate delivery of real-time inventory data to Google and other places. And I think this has been one of the hallmarks of Google's and Amazon competition strategies to bring both e-commerce and local inventory together. So Mike, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, if you're looking for a Google tell about where local pack is going, this is about as big a tell as you're going to get. They've been working on this for years, and it's finally coming to fruition. And when you, originally you saw product inventory only either inside the profile. You had to go into the profile and then search to find it.
Search and store.
Right. Or you would see it in their ads. But now we're seeing availability and product images directly in the pack with a carousel that moves in front of the uploaded images, somewhere between 1 and 5 images, depending on the query. Now, this doesn't show up for a lot of queries just yet. I'm like if you do a search on Nikkor lenses, New York City, it shows up. But if you look for a specific Nikkor lens in New York City, it won't show up, which is odd. If you look for Nikon lenses, which is the brand of the brand, right? Nikkor is a sub-brand of Nikon. It doesn't show up. But it is showing up on a broader number of queries in a broader, like if you look for Nike sneakers, New York, you'll see it. Again, it's mobile only right now, but it's interesting to me because it is so googly. It's like it allows them to leverage their strength, which is their local listings, their local packs, their dominance in that area. And with their new shopping layer of the knowledge graph, bring that together to deliver a reasonably scaled customer experience that is going to get more and more common as we go. And if you look at their development history in this, which I detailed in the article, you can see this accelerating development history. We know that they played with inventory first with voice, and then, they had Walmart as a partner, and they came and went, and they tried Frugal, and we've saw various developments. But over the last 2 or 3 years, these developments that specifically around bringing inventory into the local pack have accelerated. And I think we're just going to see a lot more of these on these intensely intent-driven queries. And I just think that businesses need to be aware that Google's doing it. And I think every small business should be leaning into this with some amount of either Shopify or Woo and WooCommerce type inventory products that they can port into it, or Pointy or whatever that's called.
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, one of the things I'm interested in is and I don't know this off the top of my head. Do we ever see shopping carousels and local packs appearing for the same queries, sort of analogous to the top item at the top?
Yeah. So, all kinds of furniture searches that I've happened to be doing. We're looking for outdoor patio furniture at the moment because it's finally sunny in Portland, three plus months into the year. So those frequently will return a shopping carousel at the top and local furniture stores in a pack.
I see it.
So those definitely co-occur quite a bit. I think, Mike, speaking to your accelerating development, I think it was just last week on our Near Memo that we talked about the smaller stores filter now available in Google Shopping, and not that small and local are the same thing, but they tend to overlap quite a bit here, which is interesting. And I was going to note that I was doing searches. I can't remember exactly when, probably last fall. For something like strollers, it was a big box type of product that I was looking for, and so this was not in-store inventory, but Google was able to show in the pack images of the stroller aisle at Walmart and Target and whatever the third big box store was for my query, which I thought was just their image recognition is clearly quite good already, and now they're able to attach a product to it that it probably won't be long before you can actually buy in pack and pick up in store, directly through a local result. And I also wanted to bring up the fact that they, in terms of acquiring this local inventory feed from small businesses, we're now starting to see perhaps one of the first instances of their Pointy acquisition coming to fruition here, where they feel like maybe they finally have enough scale, at least in certain categories, like the ones Mike was talking about, to actually start to show these images of products, presumably through feeds, not just from Shopify and Woo and others, but also from Pointy for merchants that are opted into that program.
I definitely think that it's a winner for them if they can have reliable data and produce a good UX and sort of educate consumers that this is there, because this is one of the primary reasons why people go to Amazon. Beyond it being sort of this familiar default, it's a place where people have confidence that they can find what they're looking for. If they can find these things in their immediate market, then some number of those Amazon queries or purchases are going to fall away and will benefit Google in one form or another. But what's interesting is this sort of distinction between the big box with their merchant center feeds and then the smaller merchants that, sort of absent Woo and Shopify, maybe, going in through Pointy or some manual system. How is that going to play out? I mean, I'm looking at one of your furniture queries, David, and I see Home Depot and Ace Hardware with pick up today, curbside, prominently featured there. And then there's a local pack, and Home Depot is reproduced in the third position of the local pack, but there are different stores, different, more independent sort of businesses in those stores. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out over time. There's sort of this, not exactly competition, but sort of different positioning of the merchant center feeds and the true local businesses there.
Yeah, speaking of UX, though, that was one of the takeaways from this is it's still very rough here, right? When you click through, if they have a post on this topic, the post will show first. But if they don't, then the inventory item will show. But then you click on the inventory item, instead of going right to the merchant site to order it, you go to Google Shopping, and then you have to go to the site. So it's a somewhat painful journey from search to purchase in a local context. But I think, like with ordering, which was rough at first and then became very elegant because they essentially brought all the order elements directly onto their site, I think the same thing will happen here as well. If it's successful, then they'll move more to improve the experience.
Yeah, which they already have if you get into this through Google Shopping, there are a number of vendors that you can buy directly on Google. And I guess I'm surprised, but now that you say it, I don't think I've seen it, that you can't do that with a Shopify enabled feed. Like, it seems to me there's no reason you couldn't buy from a Shopify store directly in Google, but I've yet to see that in Google Shopping. So.
Well, it could be, again, scale and API versus whatever. Who knows what Google's requirements are internally for all of this.
Okay. So on that note, we come to the end of another Near Memo this week. And again, would remind you to subscribe to subscribe. What are we? We're toying around with a lot of new names and new product ideas, and I've got them all sort of circulating.
We definitely want you to subscribe to the newsletter.
The newsletter, the newsletter doesn't have a name. Subscribe to the newsletter at nearmedia.co, and be sure to join us.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining David, Mike, and Greg. To stay on top of the latest developments in local, subscribe to our newsletter at nearmedia.co. We'll see you next week.